Hey, heads up. We talk about serious, sometimes uncomfortable shit on this podcast. But don't worry, hopefully you're gonna laugh your ass off.
Coping chaos.
Thanks for joining us for Coping Chaos, a podcast about coping with the chaos of daily life while also navigating the uncertainties of mental illness. I'm Leo Williams.
And I'm KJ Servey. We're not medical professionals in any way, but we like to say we're not experts, but experts in our own mental health. We want to have a conversation with anyone who's been affected by mental illness in any way.
Well, here we are, episode 9,
Woo.
our last single-digit episode.
Crazy.
How are you feeling this morning? My throat's a little bit, but...
No, I'm feeling good. We stayed out a little late last night.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
We got to go see some live music, and we're in Minnesota, and yesterday was the giant No Kings protest.
Woo-woo.
We didn't go to that, but we went to a show my husband's band was playing, and it was
Essentially the after party,
Yeah,
I want to say.
it was, because it was right in downtown St. Paul, and it was an earlier show. So when we got there, it was people from the protest.
Yeah, a lot. There were so many people in
Yeah.
there. It was awesome, though.
It was a good
So
feeling.
nice.
It
the
felt
vibe
like-
was amazing.
Yeah, it was a camaraderie there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, and his band did amazing. Even though he was skeptical, I was like, "No, this is so great. I loved it." And everyone did so good.
Yeah, it
and
was
just
fun.
being around people that are the same thoughts and feelings as
Yeah.
you, and frustrated as much as you are. It's just nice.
Yeah,
It's nice.
you don't have these walls like, what are they thinking?
Yes, it's actually socially much easier, which
Yeah.
goes right into what we're talking about. Today's topic covers the difficulties in all social situations due to mental illness, such as socializing with friends or families or strangers,
Yeah.
or just going out in public and dealing with the socializing
Yeah.
involved with that. So,
Well, and what's funny is our last episode was about our brains and the overthinking, inner monologue, all those things, the imposter syndrome. And it's funny because it relates so much to this.
oh yeah.
As I was, planning this out, I'm like, oh my God, that's overthinking.
Oh yeah, inner monologue especially. I'm like, that's me. All right, well, we're going to start with stories because we always love to start with our stories.
Yeah. So this was a few years ago. Our mom had a heart attack. She's okay. So
Yeah, disclaimer.
I went to the airport and there was a lady sitting next to me. I don't know if it was before we boarded or when we were on the plane. I just remember the conversation and she was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you going home? Are you going on vacation?"
Ooh.
And then my brain is like, do I tell the truth? Do I lie? I'm a bad liar. What would I say? This is going to be awkward.
Yeah, oh great. How long is this flight?
And so I'm like, yeah, my mom had a heart attack, so all my siblings are going to check on her. And I don't really remember what she said, but I just know it felt like awkward. She still talked to me later and stuff, but it was so funny. It was like, oh, I bet she was thinking I was going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to do this and
Right.
this. And I'm like, no, my mom had a heart attack.
And she's like, oh, okay.
It was so funny. And then when I was on the way back, I was in, sitting at the gate, and this lady came up to me and she was like, "How's your mom? Is she okay?" And I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like 30 seconds in my head, I'm like, how did they know? What? And I was like, oh, it's that same lady.
Wow, that's weird. Oh, that's crazy.
But I was like, I bet my face, I can't control my face. I'm
yeah, so you were probably like confused and then
Yeah,
shocked.
yeah.
I was like, what?
Again, it was probably 30 seconds, but it felt so weird. I'm like, who is this lady talking to me? Oh, my
I don't even
God.
ask those things anymore because I swear I have like an aura that just draws people to me and that'll just randomly talk to me. I don't... I don't
But
even
who knew?
question it.
Who knew my mom was sick?
Like,
what?
right? What in the world? Do I have a sign somewhere on my
I
back?
know. What kind of story do you have?
Well, mine is also about a stranger because I feel like that happens to me so much. I have a lot of content when it comes to talking to strangers in awkward situations. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was going. I was either going to the doctor or to the WIC office or something, and I had Sean, but he was like 2,
Okay.
and he was still nonverbal at that time.
Yeah.
We were standing at the bus station waiting for the bus because I didn't have a car then, and this older lady just walks up and compliments my son, and I'm like, oh, thank you, and then she just starts talking. And I don't mind talking to people, but sometimes when I'm exhausted, I'm
Yeah.
trying to watch Sean because he's, neurodivergent. So he's just everywhere.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to really keep a good eye. He'll just take off. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really have to keep a good eye. And so I'm trying really hard to watch him, hold him, and do all these things, but also be courteous to this woman who's now telling me the story about her son and how she
Oh,
has
yeah.
a bad relationship. In fact, I can remember the story perfectly. She's telling me about this cranberry field and how she had went to the cranberry field with her son and something had happened, how she wanted to buy cranberries and he was upset about it and it just ruined their relationship. And she's like, over cranberries, can you imagine? And I'm like, tugging on Sean and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't. But in my mind, I'm like torn because it's like, I like people, but I also have social anxiety. So it's
Yeah.
like I have this torn, like I do like to hear stories, especially because it does help with my writing
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. But at the same time, I'm like, I need to focus more on this. So in my brain, my inner monologue
Yep.
is like, you need to do both of these things better. You're not multitasking better. What is wrong with you? Like, you need
Yeah.
to be responding better to her. I think she can tell you're not really listening.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of these things in my brain. And I'm just like, ah.
Yeah,
So but yeah, that was a big one that I think about a lot because I knew that this woman needed someone to talk to.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that have nobody to talk to. And so like I'm telling myself this
Yeah.
at the same time because she follows us on the bus.
Yeah.
She goes the entire way with us. She gets off the bus with us. And I'm like, is she following us?
I know.
But then it was to the WIC office now that I remember because I'm going into the office and then she kept going. So I was like, okay, she's not following us.
She's not.
Which was, she wasn't creepy, but it
Yeah.
was just, I'm like, I need to
Well-
get in the mode because I'm also going to a WIC office where I'm freaking out. I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to have to ask questions. They're going to be
Yeah.
doing all these things. So I'm like also thinking about that
Yeah.
too because that's what I always do when I'm going out, which will be something else we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about later on in this. But yeah, so anyway, that's...
Yeah. Well, I don't like talking to people, but sometimes I feel obligated, and that's kind of sounds like,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, she needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah, it's
even
like
though,
I'm trying to be understanding, and it's like I don't want to talk, but at that time, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm trying to.
you're putting a stranger's needs above your
Yes,
own, and you're
yeah.
like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah, and why do
Yeah.
I care so? And even now, I think about it like I did the wrong thing, even though, like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to
Yeah.
do?
I don't think there's a right or wrong,
Yeah, I think you're
but
right.
it feels like it.
Yeah,
Like if I would
exactly.
have just ignored her, that was rude.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But that's a big thing about socializing and mental health. We
Yeah.
get so into our head that like half of the socializing's in my brain.
Oh,
So-
100%. Probably more.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that some of the things we're going to be focusing on are family, employment, coworker type
Yeah.
relationship, friend relationships, and then like going out in public and strangers, which, like I said, I have a lot about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. But I think what we'll start with is family.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to start. Or...
Sure. So I was kind of breaking it up. One thing was like immediate family. So
Oh yeah,
me,
yeah.
my husband, and my kids choosing to do things, to go out, like get my daughter out of the house.
Yeah.
And but it's then choosing what to do, where to go, what's going to happen. Everyone needs to agree. We need to bring water. Do we need snacks? Is there going to be toilets around? Which mobility device do I need to take? Just
Yeah.
a cane or my walker or my wheelchair?
Yeah,
It's
what's the
like,
venue like?
Yeah.
Because I know with last night you were
Yeah.
like, I can't bring my walker in here because I have to use a cane because it's only stairs. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I didn't
It's-
think about how
that's
you have to
like
think of
all-
those things.
And then it's like, Sophie, she has autism. So it's like, does she have headphones? Her rescue med? Do I need to, bring this or that?
And you're like scoping out a spot when you first get there
Yeah.
to see where's a good corner that
Yeah.
she can kind of be in to make her comfortable.
I didn't really check her. She did bring her phone, but she didn't bring a charger, and she didn't bring her ID, which now at 18, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you need to bring that everywhere you
It's
go.
important. It's important.
We got ready pretty quick, you know.
That's
and
true.
So it was
That's because
like,
we were making videos.
yeah, we were watch our TikToks.
Yes. We work hard on those.
But yeah, it's like so much going on inside my brain, and then like weighing the pros and cons. What do you know, like, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? And I'm like, I like to do things with my family, but then
At the same time, it's like, I want to relax.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
then,
don't want to
like-
have to think of all these things and plan all these things for a day that's for me. For
Yeah.
me, what would be relaxing is not having to do any
Yeah.
of those things.
and like there's a cool little town that we like to explore a lot, and I'm like, oh, let's go there. But then it's like I have my wheelchair because it's a long walk, and
Oh,
then it's
yeah.
like I can't get into all the shops, and then everything through my mind.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's, I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about immediate family. Part of
Okay.
that.
I think family for me, you're right. I didn't think of it like in degrees, but you're
Yeah.
right. Like the immediate family, it's very different how I feel than like with you or with my other siblings.
Yeah.
Like that relationship to me is so important that I stress constantly
Yes.
about it. I'm always
I try.
stressing. But like with my family, it's a little bit different because it's like, oh, you're stuck with me. You know,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
really like you're
no.
stuck with me, but it's like they're little, most of them, they're kids. So,
Yeah.
and I think with Saya, I do worry, she's getting older, she's going to leave. But at the same time, I'm like, but who would clean her room? Like
Yeah,
who
yeah,
would do
oh.
that stuff for her? Only I do that. So I'm pretty sure she'd want to stay with me, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, my 21-year-old has never let us in her apartment, and I
Oh,
know why,
really?
because she had a room here once.
You're like, I know how this goes. I know.
But I also, at that age, had a really messy
Oh yeah.
apartment and car. Oh my God,
Well,
car.
I'm like a clutter person, so like I'll deep clean, but I'll put stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my ADHD, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
but-
I'm sure that's.
But I'm trying to think, like, when it comes to socializing with my immediate family, like my husband and stuff, I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable. I can be myself 100%. I can, but at the same time, sometimes I feel like because of that, I overdo my negative part
Right.
because it's like it's the only place I feel comfortable doing it, and then
Yeah.
I do it too much, and then I'm like, okay, this person is now only seeing this part of me and
Yeah.
not the part that made them fall in love with me, or
Yeah.
and so I
Always
have-
everything in our
yeah, I'm
brain.
still thinking that all the time,
Yeah.
those kind of things, which is why, like we were saying in the last episode with relationships, how
Yeah.
I can sometimes hyper focus on that
Yeah.
kind of stuff because I know that socially I act differently with my family than I do in public. So like I'll be all upset and stuff, and then we'll go out and I'll do my masking
Yeah,
and be
yeah.
like totally fine. And then Ryan's like looking at me like, ugh, like
Yeah.
I wish that you could be happy like this at home for
Yeah.
real. He doesn't want it fake, but he just
No.
really wishes that Leia could be at home more.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but I'm sensing
Yeah,
that that's what
yeah.
it is. That's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
He doesn't say those kind of things, but
No.
he
But-
doesn't have to because my brain does.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I wrote like because of our large family, our siblings is basically what I'm thinking of. Everybody's everywhere. It is kind of cool that there's 3 of us in Minnesota.
Yeah, I
now,
love that.
But texting and who should I text? We have our group text.
Yeah.
But I overthink. What do I say to someone? And again, I grew up in a different household than you did. There was more of the siblings in your household.
Yeah.
So, and I'm the oldest. And so I'm going to be honest here. I overthink, like, when we're together, everybody's like, yeah, you're a sister, you're a sibling. And I don't know. It's like,
It doesn't
Yeah,
feel like that.
but you guys all grew up and have your own inside stuff. And, I have a hard time, like, I'm just, again, I feel like an imposter. And I know every time everybody's like, oh, yay, we're together.
yeah, we're
Like,
excited.
like
And
2 of our other sisters came and visited recently.
yeah,
and we
it was
went,
great. I
went
had a
out
lot of
and
fun.
yeah, but yeah, that's just me, like imposter syndrome, even with family.
See,
and it's like,
but I have that too. And I feel like for me with the siblings, it's like I'm really bad at communicating. That's probably one of my worst things
Yeah.
because time. I've said this a million times. Time passes differently for me. So
Yeah.
like, I'll have a week go by and it will have felt like a day, and then I'll
Yeah.
be like, crap, I have not asked anybody in my family how they're doing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do care and I really want to know. And like, if something is happening, I do want to know so I can
Yeah.
support them. Or if they needed me for something, I would hope they would ask me. But like, I'm not the person that will check in every single day, even though I want to. I'm just, the time passes so fast that I'm like, crap, the whole day is already gone. And I was going to text this person or whatever.
Well,
so.
And I hold back, and I'm like, then I'm isolating myself even more.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot
and
too.
so it's like, because I'm like, yeah, again, they don't want to hear from me, or like,
or I'll be like, the last time I posted something, only one person liked it in our group,
literally...
so I'm like, maybe they don't want to hear what I have to say anymore. But really, they were busy or at work, or because there's a lot going on for me, and like, I know, like with each sibling, I know exactly really what's going on in their life. So like, but it doesn't matter because my brain is still saying, my inner monologue is like, no, they hate you. They don't want to talk to you anymore. They wish you would just burn in a fire and die. It's like,
Well, I literally, you took the words out of my mouth, because it's like, I posted this picture, they didn't like it, and then someone else posted a picture a few hours later, and everybody
then it got
liked
liked.
it.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid, because, it's not that.
It's just about timing. Because I was saying, sometimes I'll do it, and everybody will like it right then because everybody had their phone on them at that time. And then other times, nobody will like it. And I know for a fact there's been times where I've read a text and I'm like, oh, I love that. But did I love it? No, because I walked off to do something else. But reversed, it's like, they hate me. So I don't...
Same. One big thing is like kind of politics, or agreeing how people are living their lives.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In families, it can be hugely different.
Oh, and that can cause a lot of contention. I mean, animosity between people when it comes to finances or religion or government type of things.
I'm queer. A lot of our family is. And so it's like, but there's people who aren't so... understanding about that.
And there's people on both sides or all sides of the boat right now. And so it's really hard to be like how comfortable I am, or I don't know. It's just, it's hard to know, what can I share with these people? What can I talk about that won't be triggering people being offended? Or, because, I have a sibling that's like, I don't want to talk politics at all. I'm not interested. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to talk about it. And personally, I'm like, what? But at the same time, I'm like, I respect that, at least they're voicing to me how they feel.
Yeah.
And so like, I have mixed feelings about it, I'll admit. I have very mixed feelings about it, but I'm trying hard, to respect everybody, because I want them to respect my feelings as well. So
yeah. Well, you can come to me and we can just talk.
Well, I love that. So, but, and I definitely feel like that was hard. And actually that goes into what else I was going to say about family, which is, the fact that I've been feeling so vulnerable recently with us doing this.
Me
because
too.
I know our family's listening. In fact, with our cousins reaching out to us, cousins we haven't talked to a lot, but that we are so interested in and want to hear from, that it excited me. But at the same time, like I said, I felt vulnerable because I'm like, they hear everything. Like, it's so easy to sit in a room with someone you love and trust and just talk about these things and then think, oh wait, there's a whole public now that can hear this.
Yeah, and we're not talking bad. It's just our feelings, and we love everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is like, this is how our brains think, and they're not doing anything wrong necessarily.
No, they're living their life how they want to. They have their identity how they want it to be, and I want everyone to be able to have that. But at the same time, I'm
like, are they judging me? Are they? And they're not. Well, maybe they are, but
they're not telling me they are. So, and even if they are, that's the part that's like, I shouldn't care, but it's like I do, and I hyper focus on it, and I hyper care, even though I shouldn't let it affect me. But especially with family, that's so hard.
Yeah. My next thing on here is cutting people out of your life,
which is
family.
So hard.
And
I know from experience, it's very hard, and it's divisive. It can divide people a lot.
For sure. I've started to share, but I didn't have a good growing up. My mom, different from Leia's mom. I always say biological mom, or I say her name, but I don't want to say her name on here.
No.
It was abusive, neglectful growing up. And, she was very controlling and narcissistic. And when I was about 21, I was just like, fuck it. And it was really hard for me because I'm such a people pleaser and everything. And my ex-husband was just like, you're always crying every time she hurts you, and she does it kind of on purpose, control and stuff. Like, I was 18 and engaged to someone 10 years older than me. That's, problematic, but
red flag. But at the same time, it's understandable
Yeah.
with what you needed to escape.
yeah. But then I decided I was going to break it off, and my best friend and I were going to move to Seattle and go to college. And you'd think people would be supportive.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're ruining your life, and that's the worst decision you can make. I'm like 18 years old, going to marry someone 28, and it's like,
Whoa.
So then when I was married to someone else, my first husband, it was like, you can just
Stop talking.
Yeah. And so it was hard, but then it was easy.
After time, I'm sure time makes it much
And,
easier.
She's been really an idiot and like tried to like contact me different times. And I'm like, dude, if I want to talk to you, I will go find you.
If I want my life to tank, I will come and talk to you.
So sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's fairly easy because I don't talk to my dad either. And, that's fine with me.
Right. I mean, I feel like you can only put so much effort into things, and that's one of the things I've learned a lot getting older is if they're not putting the effort in, why should I put the effort in? Well, I think next is coworkers, because I feel like one of the biggest things I've always said, like when I get a job, it's not the job, it's the people that can make or break a job. I mean, I'll work anywhere. In fact, I love working at new places, whether it's McDonald's or anywhere, because it's a new experience of something I've never tried before. And I'm just so fascinated by those things for some reason. But then it always turns into the people. And I've had many different coworkers, some that I'm still friends with on Facebook now, and then some that, eventually I had to like delete from my Facebook or just not talk to anymore because of whatever. But I feel like a lot of them, they tend to take advantage of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a hard worker. I work very hard, and I respect that I'm there for a job, to do a job, to earn the money, and I'm going to do the best that I can. But then these people see that and they take advantage of it. Like the person will have the shift before me and they know I'm coming in, so they'll do less because they're like, well, she'll just pick up the slack. And it's like, yes, I will, but it just sucks because I will. And so, and that's why I have issues like with starting to call out or not wanting to go in, because even the managers or the higher ups, and even when I become a manager a lot, because I do so well, a lot of times they want to progress me to manager. Like I still am not good at telling people what to do. I am, but I'm not. Like I'm not good at enforcing it. I'm good at like, hey, we need to do this, guys. But then if they just don't blatantly do it, I'm not a person that's like, do it. You need to do this right now, or I'm going to write you up. I'm not like that. I'm not confrontational like that, and I don't like it. So that's why I hate being a manager, and I will never do that again. But the only reason I did it was for the pay.
A couple things I put down here that are similar. It's like, do I friend them on social media or not? Like I know you said most of your friends on Facebook are either family or coworkers.
Exactly.
But every time I'm like, oh, I do want to interact, but I'm like, do I really want them to know everything about my life?
Right.
Do I, and then if I decide, or I'm not at that job or things, and then I take them off, so I'm like right now at my job, I've been working a year at the school. I have one person, from the school that's on Facebook, and I would probably do more, but I'm very cautious.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. One other thing I put on here is gossip. Because for me, again, I just don't want to be in conflict, so I don't want to say anything either way. And at jobs I've had where like one person will be like, you know what this person did? They said this to me. And then later the other person will say, and I don't agree or disagree, or maybe I do, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, what do I say? I don't want to engage in.
You want to stay neutral, but even though you have an opinion about it, you don't want to state it because you really want to stay neutral because you have to work with both of these people.
Yeah.
So.
And so I'm like, okay, just be nice and listen. But then I'm like, because I'm listening, do they think I agree with them?
Yeah.
I don't want them to think that either, but
just
I'm not
because I'm lending an ear doesn't mean that I agree with what they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I should, but I'm not a person who can be like, oh, I don't really want to get into that, like, because then not that is bad, but they may think it's bad, and then they're going to treat me different. The overthinking.
No, but you're right. I would think the exact same thing. And I have been in the middle of something like that multiple times at work because people hate each other a lot at work because you're with these people a lot of the day. Another reason I think work doesn't make any sense. You're with strangers for 90% of your day, and then you barely get any time for the family you're trying to support. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's a small one, the coworkers one, I feel like, but it's definitely a big social aspect since it's, and I'm I'm planning on getting a job again soon. So that's actually something I've been thinking a lot about, like past relationships with people I've had and just a lot of things like that.
Like industries have a lot to do with that. Like fast food, there's a lot of turnover.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like there's other industries or jobs that might be more, maybe you're by yourself more, or
and that's why I was like, oh, maybe a hotel person or something like that. I mean, you're not alone a lot because there's people coming in, but for the most part, you're kind of doing your own thing. I like that because I can do my job and there's nobody there, but it's hard. It's hard to know. I'm literally just like, I hate interviews, so if I can just get a job easily without too much interview process, I'm good to go.
Well, and kind of with that, we talk about being oversharers.
Yeah.
And so, like with the social media, but then I'm also like, am I sharing too much? Like,
with
especially this
coworkers.
mental health stuff.
Oh, I do that.
And now, coworkers are going to listen to this.
Yeah.
But I've always, in the past, sharing, because again, I think talking about this stuff is important. But
it's cathartic. Too.
Yeah. But like, are they going to judge me and think I can't do my job because of my mental health? I'm really good at masking.
Right?
And I'm stubborn, and so I want to do a good job. And
exactly.
It's
like
to my
self-pride.
detriment. And so I'll do it more than probably I should. So I don't know, sharing too much.
I didn't even think about that, but with coworkers especially, because like they'll tell a story and I don't know if it's my ADHD or whatever, but I always want to relate with a story of mine that matches.
Yeah.
But then I'm like oversharing because I'm giving, like you said, I'll go on a tangent and give a context and then like do all this stuff. And then at the end of the conversation, I'm like, wait, what were we even talking about?
I know. And I'm like talking about my kids. And then I'm like, ooh, what do I share?
Want them to know anything about that? Yeah, exactly.
But again, you're with them all the time. So it's like chit-chatting about your life.
Yeah,
so
to make the time pass, if anything. But that's hard.
So another one I wrote down. It's funny. I looked at this and I'm like, employment. I don't have a lot of coworker stuff. And then it kept coming to my mind.
You're like, wait a minute.
So pronouns, my pronouns.
Oh yes,
I use they them pronouns. But again, I don't want to be a bother. I don't. So like, when do I introduce that? Do I introduce that? There's people who know that, and then do I correct them? And I don't, because I don't want to be a burden. They're like, is that too much? And I know some of the people are like, correct me when I
was going to say, you need to correct me because I mess up a lot. I do. So.
Well, and I'm not that, stringent about it, but it's more about like, when do I tell people? Do I tell people?
Yeah.
So I have when I started working at the school, I had a button that said they, them. And I didn't think people saw that very much, so I got a lanyard for my ID and stuff that's around my neck, and it says they, them, they, them, they, them.
Oh, nice. Okay, there's no excuse then now. They know.
You're looking at
me. That's awesome, actually.
But, so it's more about, do I say something? Do I not say something?
Yeah.
And I, even on this podcast, I, misgender myself, and...
I was going to say I do as well sometimes, so I do apologize for that. I try really hard, though.
It's a new thing, and
well, in fact, that's why it's even hard for me now. Even though I respect it and think it's awesome, it's definitely hard to do. Yeah. I just keep reminding myself it's like if you're talking about a mailman and you don't know the sex of the mailman, you're going to say they them automatically. So
or
I always
mail carrier.
Yes, exactly. You're so right. See, I'm still doing it. Oh my god, but
my children were deciding gender, exploring that. And I was like, when I was learning about non-binary, I was, oh man, when I was in high school, if I would have known about non-binary, I would have gone by that. And I said that for years. And then finally I'm like,
wait, I can go by that.
I still feel that. It's
Yeah.
the same person inside.
As you
so-
were then, exactly.
But again, it's like, do I want to be a burden and annoy people? And, and
But
same
it's
with,
more for your identity than
Yeah.
anything. So, but it's hard.
yeah. So what about friends and going out, like
Yeah.
socializing?
I feel like friends is so hard for me because I'm a person that's really great at making friends. I love everything. Like everything interests me, whether it's even fishing or, okay, golfing, kind of boring. But like most other things really interest me. And so when I meet someone, I usually find out what it is that interests them.
Yeah.
And then that's what will hyper talk about. And so
Yeah.
like I do this a lot. We'll be really close friends for like a month.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like they don't even really know me because I'm mainly in my brain, like they don't want to hear about me. They want to talk about themselves or,
Yeah.
people enjoy. It's like I'm constantly thinking that I need to cater to them
Right.
when it's not that way. Friendship is a dual thing.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be like, oh, you do this and that's interesting. I want to learn about that. And
Yeah.
and maybe I get more into it, maybe not, and
Or I'll be really interested in it because I feed off people's emotions. So it's like because they're so excited about it,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And I get into it and I love it. And then I'm questioning like, do I love this because I love it or because they love it?
Yeah.
And really, it's because I love everything. There's like different degrees of when I love things, like
Yeah.
hyperfixation on things where I do it all the time,
Yeah.
or just I do it mainly with friends, like certain shows that I will only watch if I'm
Yeah.
watching it with somebody else, but I would never watch it by myself. It's like, do I really like that show, or is it just I like it because of
Well-
the aspect that it's fun with social? I also don't want to like make it where my friend thinks that I am just only into what they're into.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to share, and then eventually I just feel like it's not a friendship as much as it is like a one-way thing. And then a lot of
Ugh.
times with people, they take advantage of me.
Yeah.
I tend to draw people like that. It
Well, 'cause
feels like,
we're kind and empath. And
yeah,
then our mental health, us, feeling obligated.
yes.
And like,
And then I'll get into things with certain friends that it's just after, like I had one really good friend for a few years and we were great friends. And then, but like we were like social media friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were friends in high school. And then something happened where I was like living with mom and it was just me and Saya. This was before I met Ryan and we were hanging out a lot. But then I meet Ryan and all of a sudden my friend's mad at me or upset
Oh,
or
no.
like didn't like the fact that I was splitting up my attention
Yeah.
and that I was starting to talk about other things that I liked. And, it just
Yeah.
started making the relationship. And now we just don't have a relationship anymore. And it's sad because I really enjoyed that friendship,
Right.
and I still think about it a lot and I miss that person. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, I don't know how they are now
Yeah.
or anything. I just felt like at that time they were just, our relationship was too much because I had let it get to that.
yeah, yeah.
Too much of one-sided. She was just very selfish about everything. But I had put it that way
Yeah.
because I had not voiced anything. I just
Right.
went with the flow for her. And in the end, it ruined our friendship, And
Yeah.
so I feel like a lot of my friendships are like that. They just end quickly, or I stop talking because of my isolation. I isolate myself a lot. That's a normal thing I do.
Yeah.
So you won't hear from me for a month, and it's like, what the heck? But for me, it's like been a day.
Yeah.
And so I feel exactly the same about the person as I did before. So
Yeah. I have, and that's kind of what I have. I have like feeling lonely and sad, but then I can't reach out. I'm like,
yeah.
and it's hard for me to get the energy to do that. And then like, do they really want to hang out with me? And, that kind of stuff. And I don't want to bother them, and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I
And-
think that constantly.
But then, when I do hang out with them and
you
stuff,
have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have one friend that I'm very grateful that she'll reach out and be like, oh, I have tickets to this. Do you want to go that? Or let's go do this. We'll go to brunch. We used to go to brunch or try to go to brunch monthly, but that's hard. But
Oh, yeah.
and there can be months in between things, but she really reaches out, and that reminds me we're supposed to get together to do some watercoloring, so we'll
Oh.
have to schedule that. But yeah, it's hard for me to reach out, especially I'm just so exhausted with
Oh, yeah.
all this mental health and
physical, too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the combination of the two.
yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like with gatherings
Oh,
with friends
yeah.
and stuff, it's kind of like I said with the family, like so much planning and preparing, like pros and cons, who's gonna be there, what time is it gonna be?
Yes.
Where we were looking at a TikTok and it's like, is there parking? And I'm like, oh my God, that is so me. If I have to park on the street and walk, no thanks. Is there a parking lot? Okay. Is there a Skyway from
I'll Uber, please. I am not driving. If it's like downtown city, like how Lucas was driving last night, I'm like, I would not. I would Uber this because this is just chaos.
Well, and we did that. The last show we went to, it was in downtown Minneapolis, right next to the stadium and stuff. And so I didn't care. It was like a $55 Uber, but it was worth it. It took
no stress.
Yeah.
The guy seemed pretty cool. We're all vibing in this car. I like this.
So yeah, that's always going through my head. So I don't know. Do you have?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I also have to prepare for myself. I worry, like, am I going to all of a sudden feel dizzy? Am I all of a going to feel sick? Is the food I eat at the place we're going going to make me have to go to the bathroom at an awkward time? I mean, there's just all these things, that I think about.
That's what I wrote here too. Talking to people and I'm like, do they really want to hear what I'm saying?
Right.
What I say is stupid, even though it relates. And then I'm like, when do I jump into the conversation? Like everybody else seems like not totally interrupt, but they know how to go back and forth. And I'm like trying to
it's like comedic timing. You know, you have to like time it perfectly. And I'm always like, when is the right time where I'm not interrupting, but it's like at the right. I do that all the time. I'm constantly.
And then like you said, relating a story, and that's a very neurodivergent thing. But when you hear like self-help, like what to do, they say, don't do that. Listen. But it's like, I'm listening. And that's why I'm relating.
I'm trying to relate. Yeah. And that's my way of relating is showing I have experienced similar to what you have so I can feel what you're feeling. Yeah. But then it starts to feel like I'm just trying to talk about me all the time. But it's like, no, that's not what it is at all. In fact, if I could stop myself from oversharing, I would. But for me, that's how I relate to people. That's my way of relating, even though it sounds weird sometimes, or like I'm interrupting a lot or whatever. Yeah. I also try to guess what people are saying, which I know you've noticed. I don't know why I do it, but it's like as they're saying it, if I feel like I can guess what they're going to say, I just do it. I've tried to control it and I just cannot. I don't know if that's an OCD thing. I don't know, but I do it often and I'm wrong a lot. That's the worst part. It'd be great if I was actually psychic and like right, but I'm so wrong a lot. I know. So I don't know.
I know we've been listening back to episodes and you're like, oh my God.
Yes. I'm like, why do I keep doing that?
You know. That's who you are.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally.
Well, I'm grateful for that because I've tried so hard to control it.
Well, it's funny. I see myself being envious of friendships. Like, they just come over and you can relax
like at any time. Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish. But again, it's so hard as an adult if you're not, you don't want to do that with your coworkers, but like that's all you do.
But that's the only people you meet. If like you don't have a chance to meet
you're not at church. I don't do sports. Back in Seattle we did knitting, and so we get together
like
and
a
that's
knitting
how
group. See, that's cool.
And they're still friends with me on Facebook. Made good friends. But I'm just like, they have a friend that just comes over, or like they can just spontaneously do stuff and you don't have to clean your house, or
That's what I was saying. I follow this influencer on Facebook, I think, and I follow her and her best friend, and they're just always doing things together. One's at the other's house cooking, one's at the other's house helping them do a deep clean. They're always doing things back and forth. I'm like, I want a friendship like that, but I'm like, could I be a friend like that? I don't know, because it's like, to me, it's a lot of commitment, which is weird because I want it, I don't know. It's so odd.
Well, it's funny because like we were talking about with our cousins, my best friend since high school, we don't text for whatever. We don't talk on the phone. We did when we were in high school, but now it's like, it doesn't bother me. I know she cares about me. I know. And then when we do talk,
it's
get
always
together,
just right back where you left off.
And I know she has my back if I need anything. And
see, that's the best kind of friendship.
Yeah, but we're in totally different parts of the country, and that's hard. Since I moved, I've probably seen her twice, and I've been here 14 years, and so that's really hard. But we have the Ring camera, like who's there?
Yeah, no, I do that too. I'm just like, who has the audacity to be knocking on my door without telling me first? But at the same time, I do want a relationship.
I know.
What the heck?
And it's funny, like, again, we've touched on things that, like, we've always been, that's an old people thing. Why do they do that? We just recently, we got a no soliciting sign. We're just like, sick of it. And I just remember it's like old people have their
Yeah,
grumpy no soliciting.
sign. Like, it's official. We're
old.
grumpy old people now. No.
We talk about the weather and we don't want anybody to come to our house.
Well, man, solicitors, though, have gotten so aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm like, and with my personality, I'm
I
a
know.
pushover. So it's better I just don't open the door
I
at
know,
all.
because I stand there and listen to their spiel.
Oh, Ryan gets mad at me. In fact, this totally makes me think of another Stranger Thing, because we were getting my new phone at Walmart, and the guy was like trying to convince me to change my plan and all this. And so I'm listening to it, and Ryan's like, no, and like, we don't want to hear it. But the guy kept going because I'm looking at him and I'm giving him the attention.
Yeah.
And Ryan afterwards is like, don't give them the
Engage.
attention. Don't engage. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but that's so hard. I just
know.
can't.
Like
and
at Costco, I'm like, because you come in and that's where the salespeople are right at the beginning, and I'm like, zoom. I'm like,
Exactly.
But yeah, around here, the ones that annoy me the most, and it's funny because it's like the pest control, they'll get on a little Segway thing, and like,
my God.
so they'll park down like at
Oh,
the end
that's
of the
funny.
cul-de-sac and just go zoop, and I'm like, and then like
I need one of those.
and then like if someone's getting their roof done, then they go to all our things. So yep, we're getting old and say, stay away.
This kind of goes into going out, like, because that's the next thing we were going to talk about, kind of was like going out in public, interactions with strangers and type of thing. And the first thing I want to talk about with this was I was so happy when COVID happened, not because of COVID,
Yeah.
but because 6 feet apart, wearing masks, don't talk to each other. That was probably the biggest amount of time where I had less people talking to me in public than I ever had. An introvert's dream come true. Is
Obviously, we didn't want people to die.
No,
or, you know?
no. I just meant the social part, and definitely not the COVID. That was horrible. But I was like, why can't we do this always? Like, why can't we have 6 feet apart all the time? Like, I like that because I have social anxiety. So I have that fear. I'm being watched, or I'm being judged, or that I'm going to be embarrassed. And it causes me severe stress. And then I just avoid. It's avoidant behavior because I refuse to go out unless I absolutely have to, just because I can remember the last time I went out and how I spilled something on the floor and I was so embarrassed or something.
Nope.
So...
Yeah, I put feeling judged. Everybody's watching me. And who gives a shit about me? Like, I'm not important, but
I keep telling myself that, like, Leia, really? You think everyone's thinking about you or watching you? But at the same time, it's like, I notice people, and it's not like I'm watching them. I am conscious of the people around me. And because of that, I know they're conscious of me. And because of that, I'm freaking out. So,
yeah, even if they are making fun of me and laughing, what does that do to me?
Yeah.
It doesn't
do we even know
matter.
them? Will I ever see them again?
Yeah. I take it to heart.
But
and
if they
like,
had, would you still remember it today? Because I feel like I
Yes.
would have.
Oh, 100%.
That's the problem, because I
100%.
know I would.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. When Zayd, my oldest, was like 2, we rode the bus all the time.
Yeah.
And she would just talk to everybody. And I'd be like, shh.
That's how Saya was.
Yeah.
Too. Oh.
And she would like want to like hug people and touch people. And I'm just like, I don't want my daughter to be touching random people or people touching her. And that was hard. Or we'd be at the grocery store. My mom is this age.
Yeah, oh, no, yes. Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, they probably don't care. And I
Or,
don't need.
Mom, remember yesterday when you had really bad diarrhea in the bathroom? Yeah, maybe you should go and look for medicine for that or something. And I'm like, thanks, Scott. Thanks a lot for yelling that. Well, this woman is walking by now staring at me.
That reminds me of recently, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, but we were at Costco and Sophie has headphones. They're really cute. They have
Oh, yeah, I love them.
cat ears and they light up, but that's her safe place. That's what she's comfortable. We were at Costco and it's really overwhelming at Costco.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't like shopping
Especially
anyways.
on busy days.
And
you can't even get through
Yeah.
aisles. Ugh.
And we always like bribe with like, you can have a hot dog or pizza.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that would work for me.
But she was stressing out, and we went and we got something to drink, and we sat down while Lucas was finishing shopping. There was this older gentleman who was sitting kind of across from us, and he started to comment on her headphones. And she was, she was really elevated, and we didn't have a rescue med with us. And she just was like, and just like puts her hands by her ears. And then I'm like, how, especially the older generation, how are they
going
going
to react to that?
And he was like, you know what? I am so sorry. I should not have just assumed I could talk to you. And she couldn't hear. She was, in her headphones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But I appreciated that because I anticipated being like him thinking it was rude. And
and a lot of times they'll come to you because you're the parent that's with them, and you're the one that gets confronted as well. And it's just like, you just want understanding. You don't want anger, you know?
And, with us overthinking, I like assume it's going to be negative.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, because, generations have lived differently, and not that they shouldn't change. They should evolve with, learning
evolve
more
with
stuff.
the times.
And that gentleman had, but it was funny. I was just like ready to be like Mama Bear and be like, dude, but it was really cool. He's like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I should have realized.
See, that's nice. That's nice.
I mean, there was nothing saying don't talk to me. Well, except for headphones, but
that's usually why I would wear them, is so that people take the hint. I'll even think when I'm being checked out by the checker, like, are there enough vegetables in this so that they know I'm feeding my kids vegetables? And I'm like, they probably don't care. Because I used to work at Walmart. I worked the overnights and I was a cashier. And I mean, we would get weird things all the time. But I would never think anything like at all. The only time I thought it was weird was when this guy bought like 50 bananas and like 3 boxes of condoms. And I thought, is he a teacher? You know how they do that in class? Like they'll do that. So I'm like, is he a teacher or something? But other than that, like I never question things because I buy the most random things sometimes.
Well, why are we thinking about this stuff? But public, it's hard to navigate public.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I was going to say about public stuff is I will not ask a stranger for help. I would rather, like I said, I would rather die than ask a stranger for help. But if I'm asking for someone else, no problem. Yeah. No problem. Like, oh, Kelly, you need me to ask this guy if he has a razor or something? Yeah, let me go ask him. No problem.
Don't get a razor for me.
But it was just fun. No, yeah, you're right. Oh, God. But, okay, I'm not asking for that. But I just thought it's so funny. Like, why? Why is it so easy for me if it's somebody else that I can approach a manager and be like, hey, her food is wrong. But if my food is wrong, I'll just eat it. Yeah. I'll just eat it and sit there and be like, this is the worst food I've ever had in my life. And I'm never coming here again. But I don't want to raise a fuss. But then Saya's got bad food. And I'm like, how dare you give her the wrong food? It's just, it doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah. And then like when Zayden was in daycare, I was driving to go get her, and there was this old couple going to their mailbox, and the wife had fallen or like, or I don't know, but the husband was trying to pick her up, and I just jumped out of my car and helped them. But if I was struggling and a stranger came to help me, I'd be like, feel like such a burden and be like,
I'd be embarrassed.
Oh my God, did they just see what happened? And I can't take care of myself, but they just want to make sure you're okay, just like I did.
Yes, exactly.
It's again, we know this, but our brains in the moment are like, no, you're not worth that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that internal monologue is like, shut up.
Yeah. Talked a lot about all this.
Oh, that was really great. Anxiety. Yes. In fact, I was like, we could make this another episode, honestly, just with stories.
Yeah. That'll be fun to do story episodes.
But speaking of upcoming episodes, see how I did that?
Yeah. Look at
I didn't even mean to, but that worked out well. It looks like the next one that we're talking about is our stamina struggle, our energy bar. Like I like to think of video games, just how much energy you have in the day and kind of how we have to contemplate exactly what we want to use it for. Anyway, stuff like that. So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and then we have one about coping mechanisms. Again, we've learned a lot. We're researching a lot. And, some have worked, some haven't. Sometimes there's bad coping mechanisms that
we've created and, that turn into addictions or something like that.
Yeah, isolating.
Yes.
Things like that. Well, is it that time?
It is. Chaos Corner.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it's the Chaos Corner.
All right. right. Well, what kind of chaos have you gotten into?
Well, I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and I picked a story that did not happen this week. It happened actually years ago, but it is one of those things that we've talked about that pop into your mind at 3 a.m. when you're like stressing out about
And
silly
that
things.
does cause chaos in your life.
Yes,
'cause
yeah,
you're
it
like,
can ruin
"Oh
my
God."
day because
Yeah.
I'll still remember it and hyperfixate on it,
Or something reminds you or is a similar situation.
Yes, exactly. Or I fear I'm going to do it again,
Mm-hmm.
which will happen because this one involves my memory because I have very bad lately memory loss, especially short term and things like that. So, like, I'll watch a movie or read a book and I can barely remember it, which is nice because then I can watch it again and, I'll remember certain parts, but I won't remember all of it.
Yeah.
But there was one day I was at a restaurant with the whole family, except you weren't there, so not the whole family. I'm thinking,
It's okay.
I'm trying to think who was there, actually, but I know Joel was there. My brother was there next to me. I was going to say I wasn't going to say his name, but then you were like, you only have one brother. So. So he was sitting next to me, and we were chatting about, like, Netflix movies because him and I both watch, like, those Indian...
Bollywood?
Yeah, like Bollywood movies or just all of them. There's a lot of different ones.
know.
But we were talking about one in particular, and I was like, yeah, I love that movie. It's so great. And he was like, oh, yeah, what was your favorite part? Blank.
Yeah.
Blank. And I'm just sitting there like, and then he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, great. Now he thinks I'm lying. Now he thinks I made up that I haven't watched this when I did watch it. And so I'm like trying to like fumble, like I did just watch it, but it was at night and I was kind of falling asleep. I'm thinking of excuses, even though that's not really true. Really, I watch it in the day and I just don't remember because I have bad memory. But I was so embarrassed by it. Even now, like I hesitate to bring up that I watched something unless I can remember it well enough to feel confident enough to say that. I don't know. It was so embarrassing. And I don't know what he was thinking or anything,
Probably
but
not.
all I could imagine was he's like, she didn't do that. She's just trying to, have a conversation or whatever. But I was like, no, I swear I did watch that.
I do that all the time. Lucas will be like, oh, there's a new season of this show. And I'm like, what show is that? Especially titles. But even like when a new season comes on and I'm like, I don't remember anything that happened. And then they won't have a recap. Or even if they have a recap, it's only
not a good one.
Tiny. And so my memory's bad. It's always, every time he's like, oh, there's a new season of this. And I have no idea what that is.
But cool.
It's brand new to
me. So 2 new seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Well, my memory, it sucks because I used to have like an amazing memory.
So did I.
But we're in our 40s, and then now I'm at perimenopause. And then I had the electroconvulsive therapy that was they shock your brain, little seizures. I've talked about that.
Have.
And that's one of the main things is memory loss. And I luckily am on the mild side of that, but things just drop out of my brain like blank.
And I hate that. And that's actually another reason probably that I plan so much ahead of time because of my memory. If I'm not thinking of it right then.
Like when we're planning this, we have a loose outline, but then we write stories down. And I'm like, if there's a word, I'm like, I write that word because I know it's going to drop from my brain.
Yes, yeah. If there's something I know that I won't remember the whole thing, I have to write keywords or things, or just the whole thing in general.
I know. You should see our notes.
Yeah, I've got like paragraphs and paragraphs of just random things up the side.
Yep, arrows and.
But all right, well, let's hear your chaos.
All right. Well, we recently, my family, Lucas and Sophie and I, we went to Omaha, and we went there for a concert, but we went for that, and then I have family members that live there, and my niece has a 1-year-old. We saw him when he was little, and when there's no shows in the Twin Cities, then I'm like, well, where in the Midwest can we go? Omaha's a good choice because we have family.
That's true.
So we were there. We went to the show. We also, visited with the family. It was hard because the weather was really bad, and there was a St. Patrick's Day parade right next to our hotel. And so my niece was bringing over her son, and we were going to go over because that was fun and cute to do with the kids. But it was so windy. It was so windy. No. So we couldn't do that. Then we were planning on going home a certain day, and we knew there was supposed to be some kind of blizzard in the Twin Cities, and we knew we were going to come home to that. But then most of the drive is in Iowa. You're like driving through Iowa, and it's all flat. And so even though they didn't get as much snow, because it was crazy in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
But their wind, it was like 50 miles an hour wind.
Ugh.
And so it was blackout or whiteout, sorry, conditions.
Same thing
Same
to
thing.
me.
You can't see anything, but it was really, really stressful because it's like, do we stay another night? You know, we work the next day. I have treatment, you know, all this stuff. Do we, you know, go? And I'm like, my biggest worry was that Lucas and I were going to not agree. And, you know, am I going to have to really, you know, stand my ground? Am I going to just, because we are pretty good at like coming to an agreement, even if I'm like, I still think my way is right, but this is fine too, you know, but you know, and he likes to be a person, which I like, that is like, let's just get this done. We'll go push through things. I mean, he drove through pretty much tornado weather one time, and I'm like, well, we probably shouldn't have done that, but we did it, and we did survive.
You're here.
But yeah, so I'm like, oh, is he gonna not? And not that I just was like, I don't want this to cause more issues than it is. It's really obnoxious. It was so bad that we had to stay. I working at a hotel, I get really good discount only if they're offering the discount that day. So I had to look on my employees site, and they were offering a discount day, and so
hooray for that.
Yeah, because if I had to pay like $130, I couldn't have afforded that.
No.
But we also couldn't go home, and then, you know, our family has a small home, and, you know, we wouldn't want to impose on them. Although they
probably would have.
Yeah, they wouldn't have cared. They thought twice.
But asking is so hard too.
And so, you know, it's just all that stuff. And so, yeah, we were able to do that. And I talked to the front desk. I'm like, can we just stay in the same room? And they're like, yeah, of course. And that was easier. But, you know, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. And but then, you know, I feel bad because I have to tell work that I'm, you know, not coming in.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
And then I had to cancel my treatment. And one thing, you know, again, sometimes the positives are that we learn our lessons, you know. So we were going to let Sophie stay in the hotel room while we were at the show. That's something that made me very nervous, you know, and I made sure she had her things and all this, but I didn't want all her medicine to be in the room with her. Just safety. Mom thinks too much, but
makes sense to me.
So we got a little, you know, pill container, and I put, for this day, she needs that and that. But then when we had to stay another night, she didn't have her mental health medication. So I felt terrible about that. Like, oh my God, I thought about one thing, but I didn't think about the other. But I didn't know that it was going to
how could you
be
predict
closed.
that?
And
you can only think of so much.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought I was being so smart. Lucas and I have a bag that has our medicine in it, like it's a zip bag, and she has one. And so I was like, oh, that takes up so much room. That's nice. But next time we're at least going to have a couple days.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And so I'm judging myself, and, you know, oh my God, I have to do all this. And like, there's nothing you can do about weather. And then my supervisor, she texted me and was like, well, could you do this real quick? And I'm like, I didn't bring my computer. Should I have brought my computer? No. I am really, really good at splitting work and home. When I get home, I do not take that computer out of my backpack at all unless I'm working from home and
exactly
getting paid for that. And so I'm like, should I have brought it? And I don't. A lot of people put their work email on their phone. I will not do that. I'm like, nope, because then I will focus on it, and I will. I've done that at other jobs. But then I'm like judging myself and like, maybe I should have brought it. And I'm like, that's bringing a lot of extra stuff. Then I have to.
Right, you have to lug it all.
Yeah,
too.
and I have to worry about it being stolen. Like everywhere I go after work, I put my backpack on. I'm not leaving that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
In the car. So yeah, and just everything. I was judging myself and just felt bad. And then it was like, oh, what about tomorrow? You know, is it going to be better? And it was just so hard. And, you know, again, are we going to agree? You know?
Yeah.
Luckily, it was, you know, still there was like 20-mile-an-hour winds, but, you know, it wasn't so bad. And then when we were driving home, there were still closed highways. So we went kind of another route that kind of goes around, which we've taken that route too. But all we saw were cars on the side, flipped semis, everywhere. Just like the whole way down. So like,
oh, that would be horrible.
we made the right decision, you know, because that was from the day
That would have been
before. A lot of
horrible
them.
to drive in that.
Yeah, and it was still windy. Like even on our way there, it was super windy, and Lucas was like so tense. And I had never, haven't lived in like super flat areas, but I'd never seen a semi just on its side.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere. They were like, I was like, oh my God, because of the
That's
wind. It caught them.
scary.
It did make me feel like, okay, we made the right choice. And
Yeah.
it was still windy, but Lucas is really good at driving. And so it was fine, but it was a little crazy. Trying, again, it's just judging myself. Why do I have to do that? All
Well,
right.
I'm glad you guys made it. That's all.
Yeah, we're safe.
I'm glad
we're
you're here. You
and,
made it.
and
and
then
well, as always, we want to hear from you guys. We
Please,
want to
please.
hear your chaotic stories. We want to hear your comments, your suggestions, your thoughts. Just tell us everything that's going on in your brains because we tell you what's
Yeah.
going on in ours.
Exactly. Like you can find us everywhere. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, and we share silly videos. We share clips. So we would love if you go and like those things and comment and
Please.
just let us know what you think. And if you could also review wherever you listen, that'll help us build our community.
Give us those stars.
Yeah, and tell us what you want to hear, whether it's there or, contact us. Our email is copingchaospodcast@gmail.com. Oh, I think I forgot. All the social medias are at Coping Chaos Podcast.
Yep.
Yes.
We do have a Patreon.
And please hang out with us there.
Yeah, chat with us. Look at our whatever it is we're deciding to put on there.
Yeah. Well, and we have a free tier that we really thought it was important. We put the chat on all the levels.
Yes.
Because we don't want our communications to be at a paywall.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah.
Great. We talked about everything that I wanted to talk about.
Well, and I think with social things, it's going to be in every episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, every episode really intertwines with each other
Yeah.
so well. But
Yeah, I love it.
socially, it involves anything you do, really. So
Yeah, for sure. So the biggest thing we want everyone to know is that you are not alone in this. Not at all. We want this to be a safe space to share our experiences as a community.
exactly. And remember, we love you guys. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Coping Chaos. And as always, we will see you on the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Coping Chaos is hosted and produced by KJ Servey and Leah Williams. Audio mixed and edited by KJ Servey. Our theme song is by Lucas Servey and Leah Williams. Artwork is created by Lucas Servey. You can now follow Coping Chaos on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Coping Chaos Podcast. We have also started a Patreon at Coping Chaos Podcast, where you can help support us and have access to exclusive content. Please feel free to rate and review wherever you stream. Send us your questions, stories, and Chaos Corner moments to copingchaospodcast@gmail.com.